and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to talk about a very serious problem of homelessness and what Hampton is doing to help people who are homeless get back on their feet. My guest is from Social Services, Mary Hollop. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's funny because I know you in sheltering people,
You do?
but generally during emergencies.
Yes.
And so when it's not an emergency and you have to shelter, everybody, you work on outreach to homeless and you work with our partner agencies, right?
I do. I work with Hampton Department of Human Services, and I'm the Community Partnership Manager. But I also work with another very large organization called the Greater Virginia Peninsula Homelessness Consortium. We know that's very, very long title, but it's a 40-member organization, and it covers Hampton, Newport News, York, James City County, and Williamsburg. It's called a continuum of care, and it is organized to help homeless individuals.
And you've made quite an impact so far. That group and that effort, and coupled with some efforts toward our veterans, have made huge strides in getting people into a system where they can get assistance and move on to independence.
Exactly. Since 2011, we've seen a significant reduction in homelessness. We go out and we do what we call PIT counts, point in time counts. So one time a year, we go out in the early hours of the morning, usually towards the end of January, and we do counts of people that are sheltered and unsheltered that are homeless. And since 2011, we've seen like a 35% decrease.
Wow.
Yes, it's been pretty significant. We had like 700 in 2011 that we knew were homeless in this area, and we're down to, this year our count was 147.
And that's the whole region. I don't want to give people the impression these are the numbers in Hampton.
Right.
That is huge.
Oh yeah, thank you. That would be bad.
I want to say congratulations, and then I want to say I don't think people know that. I think people think it's getting worse because they're seeing more people on the side of the road saying they're homeless and asking for donations.
Yes, that's correct. We know where they are panhandling, and citizens call in and they will say there's a homeless family out here or there's a homeless individual. So we will go out
and that's nice. We want concerned citizens to call us.
We love that happening, because especially when there's children involved, we make sure that there are no children in the city of Hampton on the streets. That is definitely a given. But we will go and do assessments of the people on the street corners, and we will offer them services. What we have found out is that a good portion of them, probably 75% of them, are not actually homeless. We still offer them services also. We tell them about resources at social services and other resources in the community. If they're homeless, we'll do a complete assessment and offer them housing services.
So why are they still out there? I know this is a really basic question, but I don't get it.
Sometimes the homeless will refuse services, and it is everybody's right to be homeless, but more often than not, we pull those homeless people off the street. The ones that are panhandling.
Let's just stop there. The reason people might refuse services, even if they're truly homeless, might be requirements about not drinking or using substances. No, that's not it?
That's old.
They're afraid of it. Okay.
Yes. We do what we call low barrier assessments. We do not tell you you have to stop drinking. We do not tell you you have to stop using drugs. We will go ahead and house that person. Then we will work on the barriers that they have.
Then you get to the other problems, but immediate shelter. So that's not a valid reason. If people have that in their heads, it's no longer true.
It's no longer true, yes.
I know that from a lot of studies, a lot of the people who are homeless may have mental challenges, might have some neurological problems or other things that really render them less capable to make good decisions, especially if they're not on medication, which, is that part of the issue? It
is part of the issue, but the beauty about a continuum of care is that our partners provide those services to us. For example, CSB, Hampton Newport News CSB, is a very, very big partner that we have. So they will go out and offer those services, and they also have street outreach people that will offer those services to somebody that's homeless. And it may take a lot of contacts with them, but eventually we are able to get them into a housing situation.
So you don't talk to people once and walk away?
No,
is what
no,
you're
no,
saying.
no.
You go
Yes,
back at it
yes.
until people,
Right,
as
right.
many people as you possibly can, accept some sort of service.
Exactly.
Well, then why are they out there, Mary?
Because they're not really homeless. The panhandlers on the corners that you see are not necessarily homeless individuals. Panhandling's their job.
It's how they...
That's how they get money. And if people continue to give money and things like that, they're going to continue to be on the street corners.
And, you know, there's been a lot, I think there's also more people out there now because courts have changed and laws that cities have had to keep people out of medians and off of street corners have been ruled unconstitutional.
Right.
That the Constitution guarantees people the right to stand in a public place and say whatever it is they want to say. It is freedom of speech. And so it kind of has allowed
Them to do so.
them to do that. And Hampton cannot stop them, cannot restrict them. Now, I will say, if you're harassed by somebody, if you feel threatened, if it's a dangerous situation, please still call the police. But we can't stop people from exercising their constitutional right.
Exactly, and that's what the police have told our outreach workers in the streets.
So if I'm driving by and I know that you've been out talking to people, and I still feel guilty, like I want to help people, what maybe is a better and more productive way for me to help homeless people or people who don't have enough food?
Well, one thing, give the community partnership a telephone call. So we know where the person is. We will definitely go out and do a complete assessment of that person. If they have barriers to housing or something of that nature, we have a lot of resources that we can offer them. If they're truly a homeless person, I probably would not be giving them cash. We do what we call a comfort kit. It has washcloths in it, it has soaps in it, it may have a McDonald's card in it. We hand those things out. And along with handing those kits out, we have our cards in them that ask them to give us a call. And we will work with somebody as long as it takes to get them off the streets. Probably if you do something like that, and the panhandler doesn't take it, you know that the person is not actually a homeless individual.
They don't need care, they need money.
They need money. That's what they're looking
for.
for.
That cash.
Yes.
So I know, and I've had on the show a lot, the food bank, because
Right.
I personally support that, and it's a community partner. But if I give them $1, that's 4 meals. They can feed 4 meals out of that $1. So if I give somebody $20, they might go to a restaurant, they might eat for that day. If I give the food bank $20, that's like 80 meals, if I'm doing my math, 160 meals.
Right.
It's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot.
And the money can go farther. And there are other organizations, very worthy community partners as well. Do you want to mention a few?
Right. We work with the HELP organization, Hampton Ecumenical and Lodgings Provision, I believe is what
I
their
think
full
they've
name
shortened it
is. They
officially
shortened
now
it,
just
okay.
to be HELP again. Yeah.
Just to be HELP. HELP is a wonderful organization. They do winter sheltering for us. They also run the Help House emergency shelters. They are a great organization to give money to. In the city of Hampton, we also have Transitions Family Violence Services. They have wonderful resources for people experiencing domestic violence, but they also take homeless in. So that's a great
that's
organization.
the reason a lot of women become homeless. It's not safe to go back to their house.
Exactly.
They and their kids get out with sometimes
Right.
what they're wearing. I used to volunteer there, and it is a great
Wonderful organization.
And you got to step in quickly.
Yes, yes, definitely they will. And the other organization that we really support a lot is Menchville House. Now, Menchville House is located in Newport News, but Menchville House takes the homeless population, especially families from the city of Hampton and the regions that I mentioned earlier. So that's also an organization. And all of those organizations run off grants. So they really are on a shoestring budget. So your money goes a lot further when you donate to them.
And also, and I forgot this before, but for a lot of people who are holding signs claim to be veterans. If they really are veterans, which we can't tell from the sign, let's remember I can
Right.
claim to be, you know, Wonder Woman.
Yes,
not.
you can.
But there are really special arrangements that you can make. There's extra pools of money and efforts for veterans.
Exactly. Veterans, that we have made a huge drop in the veteran population. In the last couple of years, we've actually housed about 350 veterans that were on the streets in our region. We do get special funding to assist veterans with housing. We work very, very closely with the VA and provide veteran services through them. And we also work very, very closely with Section 8, Hampton Redevelopment Housing Authority, because they do have subsidized vouchers to move veterans from the streets into housing.
Right. So if I were to say, in short, you guys are doing and have succeeded tremendously in helping to get people who are homeless into shelters and then into more permanent, sustainable housing and lifestyles.
Right.
And that people who are on the streets asking for money, either you've talked to most of them more than one time.
More than one time,
They either are not really in the situation they claim to be in, or they're not accepting some of the efforts that you guys have tried.
Exactly, but still give us a telephone call and we will definitely go out. We will go back out and outreach all the time. We have been fortunate this year to get a little additional funding through grants, so we have people that specifically go out and do that type of street outreach.
Okay.
So just give Hampton Social Services a call and we'll be out there.
Now, the other thing I did want to mention is that sometimes people are on private property.
They are. Yes.
And the rules there are a little different. You'll still go out if you're allowed.
If we're allowed, yes.
But it really, there's some onus on the private property owner there. And private property owners can move along. They have a little more private property rights to move along people who are asking for money. And they can make a choice as to whether or not they do that, or allow you or our police department to also help enforce.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we do know there's a couple of camps in the city of Hampton, and we've attempted to do outreach, but the property owner is well aware that they are camping on their sites and they have permitted it. And some of them have even gone so far, because we've been out there so many times, to post their property and say it's a trespassing offense if we go out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is a complicated thing, though. I mean,
it is.
You know, most of us don't work with homeless people on a daily basis like you do. And we have compassion, and we want to help, and we want people not to be hungry and in the elements and in pain. And so I think people play on that compassion a little bit.
And they do, especially when they say they have wives and children on the signs.
Oh, yeah.
And really and truly, the best thing is to do the comfort kits, give us a telephone call so we can go out and make sure that the children are safe and that we can house people that are truly homeless.
And then give your cash donations to those organizations that can really extend them to be more good for more people.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I hope you learned, like I did, that we have made tremendous efforts in this region in housing our homeless, and in particularly our veterans, and getting them into stable situations. And understand that the city is doing everything they can. We appreciate your help. And those nonprofits that work with people who are hungry or who don't have a stable place to live, to get them into a more permanent, sustainable solution, would be deserving of your cash donations. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.